Hello, this is Jeffrey Nielsen, and this is my first video for the clinical practice portion of my credential at Alliant. And welcome to my classroom. This is the view you can see when we walk in the front door. Here's our front door, which has posted on it some of the respect agreements that each class has come up with. There's 4 different things: student respecting student, student respecting teacher, teacher respecting student, and all respecting equipment and facilities. The students came up with these lists at the beginning of the year, and I have them posted on the door. In addition, I have tutoring hours, as well as the Literary Arts Magazine call for submissions that I am heading, and any other school-related announcements I plan to post here. Behind the door, we have some closets with emergency supplies, packs. We have a Restore the Environment checklist by our garbage cans. Part of the Montessori method is to have students restore the environment after they leave. So moving along, you can see one of the main features of my classroom is quite a bit of decorations on the walls. I have a couple of different things posted. Some of them are literary terms, so that students have a kind of artistic and everyday present bit of literary terms that they can ponder, think about, remember as they're in class. In addition, you see as I'm moving around, I have posters of famous literary figures of American literature in the 20th century, such as James Baldwin, Willa Cather, Pearl S. Buck, and so on and so forth. Some of these authors we read, some of these authors students know, and it gets them really kind of in the mood and a sense of being in a literary space, a space that values literature and values having favorite authors and things like that. In addition, we have some posters of quotes and literary figures, such as this one from Henry David Thoreau, a nice quote that greets us and bids us adieu at the end of each class. And et cetera, et cetera. We'll see a few of those as we wander along. Up above, I have the parts of speech in very bright, legible posters that we often refer to. Many of my students are ELD or readers who struggle, so it's always good to have grammar terms above us, in mind, and visually in front of us. Most of my lessons begin at some point, end at this smart board. I have a little desk here where I often set up my laptop. I have a basket here that contains a bathroom pass and some other equipment there, a projector, and a smart board here with speakers that I often use for showing videos, for lessons, PowerPoints, instructions on Google Classroom, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of the command central. Students know when I'm at this space, I'm getting ready to give them announcements or instructions about what we're doing in class. And you can see my setup for the class is 5 tables with 5 chairs, all of which face the projector. And when I'm working on the whiteboard, or students are working on the whiteboard, I ask those students with backs to the whiteboard to turn their chairs. Students have assigned seating at the tables with letters on each table. And sometimes we shift around when we're doing group work. There's also, when they have individual work time, there's a back table here. There's a couple of laptops here that students can use if they've forgotten their Chromebooks or if they want a quiet space with these beautiful plants and windows. And you can see out in our courtyard, it's quite a nice view. Some kids having lunch today, and the hillside behind us. On the wall back here, I have student artwork, student projects from our last assignment. This is a collage based on the novel Bless Me Ultima that a group made of a portrait of Ultima. It's quite beautiful. I have some different presentations on folk cures that were part of the the novel, some comparisons of the two sides of the family, some beautiful artwork the students spent time in, and I put that up right away and leave it up. Pretty soon they're finishing and working on another project, and I'll be putting up more artwork. Here I also share the space with other teachers, so we collaborate. A math teacher has put some student work up here, some student generated models, so it really, as the semester going along, being very conscious of putting student work up in the classroom on the walls. If we move along to this corner of the room, I have my library in the following 3 bookshelves, okay, with poetry and fiction here, our course texts here, as well as some teaching guides up top and course sets of texts for all of the students. The students read in class because we have 2-hour class meetings, so they do not take them home. They read in class. We often have blocks of reading time, half hour, 40 minutes. Sometimes we do read aloud, and the students come and they can take the books out for their tables, and one student will come and bring a set to that table and return them as well. In addition, I have some reference books here, some popular fiction, and some other types of social science and mythology books. On top of this bookshelf, I have all of my extra handouts. I have one box specifically for study guides. Each quarter or each unit has its own study guide. You can see right now we're working on poetry. That's my little Facebook yearbook of American poets. Then I have handouts from previous in-class workshop in case someone needs one. I just kind of stack them there. Typically, I go fishing here for handouts if student says I'm missing something, but I keep all extras here, and then I have some scrap paper here in case students don't have anything to write on. Over on this bookshelf, I have a box of each of my sections that students turn in their work to. Anything that's not turned in on Google Classroom, I collect here, and I also pass back there. I have some art supplies for my advisory. It's kind of like homeroom. Sometimes teachers use this space. You can see there's a calculus book. Someone else is storing their stuff. We have a whiteboard here, which I use for class activities like Socratic seminars, as well as examples, quick announcements. This other whiteboard here I use strictly for the agenda, so the students know that the daily agenda is always going to be up here. Today it's lunch, and it's a day where the students have electives, so I'm not in this room, and I haven't put anything up, but usually I put it up and leave it there the whole day because I have the same classes the whole day. Like I said before, I have some plants, I have some equity sticks, cleaning supplies, plants to beautify the environment, to make, in the Montessori method, there's a high emphasis on the aesthetic beauty of the classroom. So I've tried to put a lot of artwork on the walls, some lanterns up top, lots of plants along the windows, keeping the chairs and the desks orderly, asking students to pick up anything that they may have dropped, scraps of paper, things like that. I've got hand sanitizer, some bookmarks here. These are pretty cool. Let's take a look real quickly. These bookmarks are from Note and Notice, which gives us different kinds of things that students can annotate in a novel. So I have a class set of these that students can use while they're doing in-class reading. As I move along, one of the last things I have, which has been working well this year, are in-class notebooks. The students have been supplied with a notebook that they use and they keep in these drawers, which I have labeled for them. So they always know if their notebook is missing, or if it's out of the drawer, that they will not receive credit for a notebook check. So they're expected to leave it here, but if they need it to do work over home, they can take it out, but it always kind of lives in these drawers. I have some cabinets. They're not really very much in use so far. And that's about it for my classroom. Thank you very much for watching. I think I covered the whole space. The sink we do not use, only to water the plants, and the students have been very respectful of that. Thank you very much for touring my classroom.